Okay.
Look, he is.
What?
Is it?
My question is, would he eat Booney?
Most likely, yes.
Why
Because he's evil.
Why would he eat him though? I wouldn't do that. Even I wouldn't do that. I'm being serious. I would never eat Booney. Mr. Wood. Pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
You know, Meffer would definitely eat Booney because he's so small. I'm being serious. Booney is smaller than anyone I've ever known as an OC. He's even smaller than Milo Pony. He's kind of the same size. He's kind of the same size. I'm pretty sure he goes to the equestrian world. He wouldn't even be tall. He would never be tall. He'd be the size of a pony. No one would even notice he was there. Because he would look like a pony. Anyway, this is supposed to be scary storytelling, so should we get to this thing?
Sure.
Okay, so you go first. You go first.
Okay, this story is called, well, it's not any of my dreams, but it's a story. It's called They Have No Face.
Man. Did I guess it? Did I ruin your spotlight?
Oh, it's not Slender Man. Let's just keep on going.
Yeah, let's just keep it going. Ignore me.
They have no face. So this story is about, he was driving his car.
Okay.
This made weird noise, and he decided he would stop. He found a house up ahead, and it said hotel. He blinked and kept on driving up. Then he stopped at it, and then he went over and got some gas. Everyone seemed to be weird. Then he saw this guy who said, "Are you going to stay at that hotel?" He said, "Yeah, of course I am. I have no other house, or I have no other place to stay." "Why?" "Don't go there. It's odd. Or, well, you won't like it. And most people don't come back." He shrugged it off and laughed. Ha ha. Scaring me. He grabbed the gas and gave a tip to one of the people that was working there. They seemed nice, like always. He walked over back to the hotel and filled his car with gas. He fixed it up, then he walked in. He had all his luggage. He went in. A person looked at him, but he looked. The doors were still open. He didn't shut them. Nobody else did. He looked at the person that was at the counter. They had no face. He screamed to get out, but they walked towards him, and people started walking towards him as well. He looked around, and then it went black. He woke up one day, or the next day, and he felt as if his hands were tied. He looked around. He saw people that were hung. He guessed the other people that were here before him. Then his eyes widened. They didn't have any faces. Then he noticed, I shouldn't have come. He looked around to get his hands from being untied. He couldn't do it. Then he saw a person without a face walk up to him. They had a knife. How they could see. But then they handed him the knife. He blinked. What? They looked at them, and they took off from there. Run and get out of here, they said. He cut the ropes off, and he ran. But then people running after him. It was the people without faces. Let's just call them no-faced. He kept on running and running. He came to a dead end. One of them had a knife, and they tried to throw it at him. He dodged. Then he looked, as you would think it would be the end for him. Somebody came in front. They had to. It looked like the person who had saved him before. But then and she died. He screamed and kept on running the other way. That's the end.
Really? Did he ever escape?
Safe now. He's alive. Just, yeah. Safe now.
Okay. Look at the infinite screens. Infinite screens. Infinite screens.
Infinite screens.
See, look at the infinite screens. Infinite. Do you just need to other dimensions? Do you think?
No.
So, I don't want to do one. I'm scared.
Yep.
to do one. Because I actually have a really scary one. It's kind of like yours. It is a guy. He had a funny, weird name. He was an Asian guy. And this is a story that a couple of my Asian friends made up. Actually, I met them at a school a long time ago. So after I met these people, they told me this story about a guy who was at Asia, and something happened to him, and they never saw him at school again. It was a little boy. Basically, what the story is, driving in the car with his mom only because his dad was at work. They drive by their dad's work to get out and say hello to him. Well, all the lights were out, no one was there, and not even their dad was there. They tried calling their dad, and all they heard was the buzz of his phone from inside the building. So they went in. Still no one was there. No bodies, no people staring at them. But then they found their dad's phone. Someone picked up. Then it was their dad. They asked, "Did you get off work early?" He said he did. And he's driving home right now. And they were wondering whose phone it was. And what was it doing in my dad's cubicle. Later, they went to work again to say hi the next day after they left. Still, no one was there. They wondered if they got the wrong address. They were trying to leave the next day, and it felt like they were falling. Then finally, when they woke up the next morning, it was full of people. They were all kind of staring at them because they were fainted on the floor. No one knew why they were there or what was going on and why they were in there for so long. They left the building and never came back. Later, then the mom realized the boy never came out of the room or the building. She was wondering where her son went. She screamed and ran back in the building, and all the people looked at her. Then the boy was never seen again, and the mother told the father, and they totally forgot about the situation. But the boy was never found. No sights of him. At night, they went back to the building, and the dad was with them, and he said that this was the building, but no one's been here in years. And once again, the mother screamed and ran over into the corner of the room, and she disappeared too. The end. Bruh. Do you think that was actually kind of creepy? Because actually, a couple of my friends actually told me that, so I was like, oh, that's what that was true.
My turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
So one day, well, hi. My name is Stacy. I live in a neighborhood called Oakburg.
I've heard of that. I've actually heard of it. I've actually heard of that. That's a real state. That's a real, like, neighborhood.
And I live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you might not know what Tennessee looks like, but it's really pretty. So anyway, back to the story. So one day I was walking around. Of course I had my friends with me. Doesn't everybody? Well, most of the time, yeah. Unless you're lonely. I'm sorry for you if you are. I don't know what to talk about. But anyway, walking around with my friends. We were going into a forest, or so we thought. We were walking in, and then we looked around. It was getting dark. I couldn't notice. It was light. We were coming in. We shrugged it off and just kept on walking, thinking maybe it was the trees just blocking out the sunlight. But it kept on getting darker. We went. One of my friends said we should go back, and the other said no. Agreed with them, but they said I had to come because I had agreed to go. And I gave a sigh. I was really tired because we were walking a long ways from home. So we find this cabin. We think it's late. We decide to stay there and want to. So I told them I'd probably be going back. And some of them wanted to go too. But we heard the cabin door open. And somebody came in. They had blood on their face. They had black eyes. And blood coming out. Green. Screamed so loud that birds were flying away. And they walked up to us. They held up a knife. Everything turned black, started falling. I was wondering what was happening. I was terrified. I didn't want to die. I'm too young to die. Then I just kept on falling into this deep black hole. And I landed. I heard echoings of screams, and then it was all silent. But I heard a shling. No, something happened. I looked around. I ran. I was running so much. Eventually I got tired and I fell asleep. And then I woke up. I was in the cabin. The person looked at me. They were holding severed heads. They were my friend. They walked over to me with a machete. I'm guessing they were holding it. They kept on walking up, but they didn't walk up to me. I looked back, and they were walking up to another person. It wasn't anybody that I knew. They looked now at me. I said hi. But then the person looked at me and they shut up. I just sat there. People were killed one by one. I just sat there. Sitting, waiting until it was my turn. They never went up to me. I was wondering why. And they walked up to me one day. It was weeks after I had came here. I was tired. They couldn't even let us sleep. Isn't that weird? They walked up to me with a knife. I knew it. This was the end. But then they cut off the ropes. And I looked at them. They didn't have black eyes anymore. I started crying. It was my brother. But it wasn't my brother who had killed them. It was a person. And they came back. They looked at my brother. And they were angry. I knew it. I could sense it. They attacked my brother. My brother used the knife to stab it. And I watched. People were getting killed. I was scarred already. Scarred for life. And that's the end.
What happened to you? What happened to Stacy? Did she ever
She's
escape?
alive.
She escaped?
Yeah, she escaped.
Back to her mother and father?
Yep, and her brother.
And she never saw that weirdness again?
Maybe. Maybe I'll continue it. Unless you want me to.
I want you to continue it.
Okay. But story after you tell.
Okay. So I actually had a nightmare about spring. Spring.
Go on.
Spring Uni, and it was the weirdest nightmare I've ever seen. I live by a bunch of forest. I since I live in Illinois and stuff. But this day, watching my brother, me and him were walking down the path in the nightmare. Well, you know how I always post videos, funny videos, and stuff like that. Things echo in my head like this. You don't know what we've been through. So, I kept hearing that echo through my head. So finally, I just decided, that's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. My brother stopped and turned over to look at me. Well, finally, I stood up and I looked at him. And my brother screamed and turned towards a weird figure that wasn't Slender Man. It wasn't anybody I knew. Costa, Jeff, anyone. Later, once again, that figure appeared. It kind of looked like something I created, a monster I made. But I never thought that I could have made this monster. Later, me and my brother decided to go home. Of course, there just I felt really off about seeing that figure 3 times in a row, which I had a character that's 3 months or 13 years old. Then character 3 times, and I saw it in a path which I thought was shaped like a 1. So later in the nightmare, I got up from my bed in the morning. I went out, my parents were making pancakes, everything was fine. But again, me and my brother went out to play. I saw a figure in the forest. Just kind of looked at me. And looked down, then looked up. Later, I had the exact same nightmare, and this time I got jump scared by something, but I couldn't even see what it was. It was so fast. Then I remembered something. My character, my OC, is quick on his feet, is 13 years old, and shaped like a rabbit. I started running for my life after I got jump scared, and again, he appeared with a jump scare. I couldn't even see what color he was. He was quick. Later, again, I kept seeing him. I didn't think it was a dream. I thought this was actually happening. Then finally the dream ended, and when I woke up to a picture in my face of Boney. I later decided to rip up the picture and throw it in a garbage can. But this is the scary part. I was still in a nightmare, but didn't notice it. And that picture haunted me until the dream was over. I got killed in the dream by a picture. Then I woke up to my rabbit stuffy right next to me. And my brother in his room playing on his computer. It was finally over, but I was still thinking about what I could do to make everything stop. I also was having constant nightmares, and I didn't know what was causing it until later that day. I noticed that I was always sleeping with this one rabbit toy, and I got rid of the rabbit toy the next day after everything stopped. The end. True story.
Huh. Should I tell some more stories about Stacy?
Yeah, you can tell more things about Stacy. I have
Do you or something?
I have a story about one of my friends that it was actually a really creepy story. I've actually read of real ghosts, like the ghost of past, ghost of present, ghost of future. They can only affect your dreams. They cannot affect you in real life. So that's what I found out about ghosts. They can only affect you in your dreams. That ghosts can only affect you in your dreams. So if you have a nightmare, it's a bad ghost. If you have a good dream, it's
I have had nightmares a lot upstairs when I sleep on the couch, so I'm guessing that's caused by a ghost.
Yes, probably. But if you're having nightmares that you don't understand, all you have to do is write on a piece of paper, why am I having nightmares? Leave it on your upstairs for a while, and your dreams will stop. Your nightmares will stop. I've heard that around in the book. In the book, it said that, so I was like, oh, okay. So all I have to do is that. There we go. Why I was having nightmares because the toy is a little bit ugly. To be serious, it was a really ugly toy. It was like it looked like a monster. It looked like this tiny little monster going rawr. I don't even know why I had it.
Right. Okay, my story is about Stacy. Hi, my name is Stacy.
We already know this.
You probably know me already by one of my other stories. So odd things keep on happening to me. Yeah. But let's just keep on going. So I was at my house and I was on my computer. It was after what had happened before. Talking about it to some of my online friends, and they didn't believe me. I just thought for a bit, maybe I was dreaming. And I went to bed and I looked around my room. I had always done that, just in case that thing was in my room. I had always done that ever since. And I just gave a nod to myself and said this. I am only dreaming. I was only dreaming. And I went to sleep. So the next morning I got up. Everything seemed normal, at least for a while. I didn't know what was happening. I walked downstairs and I saw my parents. It was a day of school. Well, at least I think. I don't know. I can't really remember. I went down and I grabbed my backpack. I looked around, as I always do, and grabbed my pancakes. I ate them, and because everyone knows your dad's pancakes are good. So I said I'm gonna go to school, and they gave me a nod. I walked to school, as I usually did. Most kids would take the bus, but I didn't like to. Besides, I would just be sitting there lonely because my friends always sat with someone else. I walked and walked and walked. Then I went to school. I looked at the windows. They were all black. I gave a shrug, thinking maybe it was a movie day. But no, I don't think it was. The bus wasn't there. I just maybe thought, hey, maybe it's late. I just kept on walking, walking, and walking. I went into the door, and I looked around. Everything was dark. I thought I should go back, but nah, who would do that? It's school, right? And I kept on going, going, and going. I'm walking down my school hallway. And then I saw something in a room. It was the second grade room. I looked in, and the person looked at me. Didn't look like the teacher or anybody. They looked at me. They opened their mouth, and I saw sharp, sharp teeth.
How sharp? Like really sharp? Sharp as spring state, or
Yep.
worse? Or worse?
Or worse.
Worse.
I screamed and ran the other way. I looked back. I gave a sigh of relief. It was probably just me hallucinating. You would probably just think that. And
Was
I thought,
anyone there? Like any kids?
you'll see.
Okay.
I walked down the other hallway. It was leading to nearby the kindergarten room. I looked in a window. They had these kind of like windows nearby the doors. I looked in. There were kids. They had red eyes. They looked at me. Then a figure, a tall figure,
Slender Man.
and it had red eyes. And it smiled.
Oh.
And then
Poop.
the kids ran up to me.
What?
I screamed and ran. And I ran out of the school. I looked back. And I'm back. Kids were following me and figures were following me. I went into this whole hallway of darkness. I thought I was running out, but no, I was running nearby the gym. At least I knew my way around here. Then more people showed up. They were following me. I heard screams and yelling, saying, "Come here, come here." But I didn't. I didn't come to them. I knew it was the right thing that I didn't. Then I ran into a wall. Everything was black. I woke up later and I had bruises. And